What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Don't Know Ball Pod. As you see here, we have a new face. John is not going to be part of the pod today because he has absolutely zero knowledge in soccer. So to replace him for this episode and future Champions League episodes, the man himself, X Runner. Please tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you for having me here. As you said, my name is X Runner. I'm a full-time streamer. I have a lot of ball knowledge compared to John. I will actually watch some footy, and I've been watching footy for, I think, consistently for about 2 years now. Obviously, I follow Barcelona, but I keep up with every major league, and of course, wait, kiss the badge right there.
Kiss the
Good
badge,
shit.
come on.
But I try to keep up with every major league. I'm a big fan of the sport.
Sounds like a guy's knowledgeable. I mean, he knows Bob. He's a Barca fan.
Of course.
So already off to a good start. So just in 3 to 5 words, what did you think about the round of 16?
Prem teams are frauds.
Fucking
Frauds, bro.
banger way to start. Well, since you're going to start that before we get to the Champions League, that does bring me to a question. Should fans be worried that English football isn't good enough?
I think so. I think Prem teams definitely performed better the second leg than did the first one. I think it's a trend with Prem teams. I think you notice throughout the season that tactically they do improve. So I'm not too surprised that on like a night-to-night basis they are getting better. But what I will say is Prem teams rely a lot on physicality. And that's something that something like, I don't know, league like, let's say like the Spanish league, La Liga, is very tactical and very technique based. Same thing with Serie A. Serie A is really tactical and really defensive. And I feel like physicality only takes you so far when you're getting outplayed completely by the other team. I think we're going to talk about it later, but I think a team like City, although Pep has had his issues with overthinking tactics and big games, Madrid haven't looked that great this season. And yet they still cooked City. And you look at that Madrid team, they have injuries. They're not like a strong 11. Tchouaméni's been playing better this season than he did last. But it's still nothing inspiring, and they got dominated. And so I think that Prem fans should be worried because you look at who's at the top of your table. You look at Arsenal playing some of the most boring football that I've seen this season, frankly. And they rely a lot on set pieces. They're still good. And even a team like Arsenal, who can control the ball, they have Declan Rice in the midfield. He's great at progressing the ball. You have a lot of control with Zubamendi playing the CDM role. And it's not like your wingers are giving the ball up either. Saka is known to be good at dribbling. Same thing with either you're playing Trossard. He played this game, but you could also play Martinelli. They're both good players. And yet they still, I don't think, perform to what the standard should be for the Premier League leaders, or the favorites at least, to win the Prem.
Hey, that's very well spoken. I think just when the second you see an English club, I feel like the expectations just go higher. You see Arsenal, Leverkusen, okay, they're going to win by 4 or 5 goals when they don't play like that. But again, back to the physicality take, I agree. Obviously, since it takes a lot more strength and stamina, it's going to wear you down. And since the Prem is just the hardest league in the world, you can't really rest your starters on a daily basis. So going into this game, they were already very tired. You've heard teams like Chelsea complaining about long schedules, Man City. There's not much you could do. You have to work with the scheduling unless you get lucky like PSG and they postpone your match. Kind of crazy. But I do think they should be worried. They're just going to have to start looking at the Champions League a little differently and handling the games revolving it, because you can only do so much. And as we see here, 4 of the 6 Prem teams are out. So
yeah,
not much English football left, but you still got Arsenal. But I don't really think English football is rooting for them at all. Again,
no, sir.
This guy sounds like he knows ball, chat. This guy sounds like he knows ball. So now enough of that. Now we are going to get into the round of 16. First game that we're going to talk about. Chelsea, PSG. PSG winning 8-2 on aggregate, 5-2 in the first leg, and then 3-0 in the second leg. Off rip, let me know what you think.
Man, I'm going to be honest. Coming into the first leg, I really thought it'd be a lot closer. PSG haven't looked that great this season. I'll be the first to admit, I don't watch PSG games in Ligue 1. Who watches the French league? But seeing them throughout the league phase, I definitely thought they could play much better. even their game against Barca way back when, I felt like it was a really weakened Barca team, and the game only ended 2-1. So coming into this, I thought it'd be a lot closer, especially since last time they met, Chelsea did win. Granted, it was the Club World Cup, so it was a while ago. Regardless, I mean, just straight off the bat after that first game, PSG looked a lot stronger. I don't know if it's because they're playing against a Prem team, but they were able to keep possession. They were really dominating, and I think that uh, the attacking power that PSG has for a backline like Chelsea's is too much. I think any team that PSG go up against that have a weak backline will get cooked.
You're gonna have, like, in the first leg, you had Cavacelia that came off the bench, 30 minutes, 2 goals and assists. Then they
Crazy.
could swap that out for Barcola. They even have Mayulu. Like, they just have options. They're a really deep team, and they did the same thing last season. They got hot at the right time, and it's eventually made them the winners. And I think they're doing that now, even taking back Ligue 1. So
Hmm.
PSG is the team you don't want to see, especially fully healthy, because it's not even that attacking. It's just like that midfield is still phenomenal. Vitinha, João Neves. And then in that back line, Pacho, Marquinhos, the two best fullbacks in the world. And then their goalie, amazing fucking second leg, by the way. Amazing second leg. He did not allow anything. So
Yeah.
they're just a well balanced team. I mean, if they can keep getting their matches postponed, I mean, they might be back to the championship. And now they're gonna go against Liverpool. We're gonna get into them shortly, but they didn't have to do too much.
Mm-mm.
Dominating. I mean, Chelsea in the first leg had higher expected goals. Chelsea did have their chances. They just weren't really able to take advantage of those chances. Chelsea has to do a whole little rebuild. I don't know what the plan is for Chelsea, but my favorite Prem team is Chelsea, so I do like them a little bit. It's just it doesn't make any sense. The way they're going about their transfers and their business makes absolutely no sense. You're trying to be still a big club, but you're trying to sign straight wonder kids, loan them, potentially
Mm-hmm.
deal them for even more money. It makes no sense. You have to build your team the right way, and I think the way they're doing it isn't right. So I think this summer transfer window, you either let go of everybody or you have to start deciding who will consistently get more time in the team, because I feel like, especially in that back line, it's all over the place. One game you have,
Yeah.
I mean, Fofana is fucking dog shit. I never want to see that guy play again. That guy's ass. You have Reece James. I mean, since they didn't have him, obviously they were at a disadvantage, but Malo Gusto hasn't been playing his best ball either. I just, way too many question mark all around the Chelsea team. The only really spark is Joao Pedro, but there's nothing really inspiring to say. They need to do something, especially at goalie, because Jurgensen or Robert Sanchez aren't doing it for you. So they just have a whole lot of questions, and I'm disappointed in Chelsea because 8-2.
It's bad.
You had 3-0 in the Club World Cup. Maybe that gave PSG some even more fire, but just disappointing. That's all you can say for Chelsea.
Yeah. I honestly think that this transfer ban that Chelsea just got handed will be a blessing in disguise because you've seen over the past few years now, Chelsea has just brought in way too much talent. They've tried to make some project work, some miracle run. It's not a good idea. I think you should keep Rossignol in office, keep this team. I agree with you. Definitely sort out some players. For example, why did Chelsea buy Garnacho for 40 million? That makes no sense. That brother stinks. He can't service anybody in the box. He just tries to go one-on-one. He does nothing with the ball. Nothing.
The worst buy, I think, by far was Giddens. Why they got Giddens, it makes no sense.
Major flop.
I'm so confused why that was even a thought in their mind. I think they just try to get talent because of the names and maybe to even prevent other teams from getting them. And maybe that's their strat and they sell them for a little more or just to keep the margins at the profit the
Yeah.
same. But again, there's just nothing really good to say. Chelsea's financials are also horrendous. They're terrible. So if they don't finish top 5 in the Prem, Chelsea could start going on a downhill spiral, and let's hope that's not the case.
Well, thankfully they have everybody signed to that 365. Ain't nobody leaving that team for 10 years.
I don't know how they Do it. Well, now I think they changed it, right? That they can't sign people no longer for 10 years, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it's a 2-year ban, I think, or like it's like a 1-year transfer ban and 2-year academy ban, something like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The academy was like a 9 month suspension, but they
Yeah.
said something about the transfer ban being suspended for 2 years. So I'm not even sure if it's into full effect.
Oh yeah, I did see that. I'm not sure either. I'm not sure either. But if they are able to pick up some pieces over the summer, I definitely think that, for example, like just looking at this lineup here, I think you felt it in the game as well. Enzo Fernandez is a good player. I think he's actually a good player. I think he's had some great moments in the Premier League. But as a number 8, it's not his role to service the box. I think he's much better played midfield and like centrally. But last game they played against PSG, he played as a left mid, and I think you see a lot of issues arise when you can't give Palmer or João Pedro the ball. I think some of the big chances that Chelsea had were off a lot of like I can't my camera's cooked.
About it, just keep the talking going.
I got you. It was off a lot of creativity from João Pedro. And so when you don't have any support into your striker and you don't have a backline who can control a game or even like hold a defensive line, I think you're just guaranteed to lose in the long run. Like this is not a Chelsea team that I think even has a chance of making a run at I don't know, an FA Cup or Carabao Cup. I think they're kind of just doomed for top 5 and that's it.
If they even get top five, because as of right now, they might. They're not even guaranteed. But I think that's it from that first matchup. We know that PSG is as dominant as anybody can be, and
Mhm.
Chelsea, they're a whole mess. Now that leads us into the next matchup of Liverpool versus Galatasaray. Straight belt to ass in that second leg.
Yeah, big
Just
time.
straight belt to ass. That first leg, the fact that Galatasaray only won 1-0 was a little disappointing because they dominated from start to finish. You had Liverpool that had their little chances, but outside of 2, 3 chances, they didn't do shit. They had that one disallowed goal back on that had touched Konate's hand, and that was just
Yeah.
about it. And that's it. I mean, that first leg was really bad, and then they came to Anfield where magic happens, and they did some magic shit.
Mhm.
The bad thing about this Liverpool team is you don't know if you're gonna see leg 2 or leg 1. It's always a question mark when they go into the game. But if you're gonna get leg 2 Liverpool, at least in the Champions League, then PSG are gonna have a problem. I still do think PSG have the upper hand.
Yeah. I would probably say PSG have a good chance here. Although I think it's going to be one of the better games in the Champions League. Uh it's hard to say cuz Liverpool I think on paper is a much better team than Galatasaray. So seeing a result like 4-0 isn't too surprising. Especially because I feel like Liverpool have been on an upward trend in the Premier League. But that game was really, really strong. I think that Wirtz has been looking a lot better, especially with his link-up play with Ekitike. That guy's a baller. Ekitike, that guy is actually a certified baller.
Amazing. Great signing.
I really do think he's young, but I think the fact that Isak has gotten injured, sure when he comes back, I'm sure he'll return to being a top 3 striker. But Ekitike is really, really good. Um, but more so, I want to say that I think Liverpool look the strongest when you have a player like Soboslai playing at his fullest. Seeing this game against Galatasaray, he was picking up loose balls. He was pressing as hard as he could have. And I think the rest of the team was as well. And that seemed to me, at least, the best showing I've seen from Liverpool this season. And so if they can keep up that momentum and go into, I don't know what game they have in the Premier League, but if they can keep that up against PSG, I do think they have a chance. I don't know how the Liverpool midfield is going to fare against PSG's midfield. We talked about it earlier. Those guys know how to control a game. But I'm just a really big fan of Soboslai. Like he is good, brother, and his set pieces are good. He knows when to progress the ball, and his overlap. I noticed he had a lot of overlap with Frimpong on the right side of the field, which I think is honestly perfect. When Liverpool lost Trent, I think you lost a lot of that defensive help because we can be honest, Frimpong is basically a right winger
A right
when he
winger,
plays
I
there.
agree.
But you had Soboslai picking up that open space that Frimpong would leave when he shoots up the right side. And so if you keep that overlap, you keep the left side intact with Wirtz and Ekitike, and I also think that Kirk has had one of his better games this season. I don't see a reason why this Liverpool team can't finish top 5, and I also don't see um why they wouldn't be able to at least bring a decent game to PSG.
Speaking on Soboslai, he's been their player of the year. If it wasn't for Soboslai, this Liverpool team would look very different. It's good to see that Arne Slot realizes that and allows him to play to his full potential. Because if Soboslai is having a stinker, 99% chance that Liverpool's also having a stinker. They had another good game from Mo Salah, and Mo Salah had a decent game with a missed pen. This game honestly could have even been 6-7-0. But this is one of the better games they've played. I think this formation really does suit them the best. Because Arne Slot is a big Gakpo lover, and Gakpo is a solid player, but I think when he's there, that attack gets kind of stagnant. So I feel like when he's not there, it becomes much more freer. As of late, has started to pick up his form as well. I don't really know how Gravenberch's form has been. I haven't really kept up with him this season. But Ekitike indeed is a baller. I'm kind of mad. I was kind of mad at Liverpool. Obviously, they always wanted Isak, but he started off the season amazing, on fire, was great, on great form, and then they bought Isak, so it kind of halted Ekitike's form. And since you paid such a big transfer fee for Isak, you're kind of forced to play him, regardless if he was playing good or bad, because of the amount of money. Just mentally, you just have to do it because of the bread you spent. And then for Gala, their goalie, I don't know what nationality he is, probably Turkish, but he's a fucking dog. He's a fucking dog. You have Gabriel Sara, at least in the first leg, was a dog. Osimhen's still a dog, but he was dealing with a little injury. You had told me earlier it was an arm injury.
Yeah, I think multiple times during the first half, you saw him like clutching at his arm. I remember I think around the 30th minute, he called for a sub, and then he like canceled it, just like thinking, oh, I'm good, I can like hold out. But obviously, he got cooked on the halftime. He might be sitting out for a few games. I think it looked kind of serious. Like every single time he shoot the ball, every time he would go for a challenge, he would like grab at his arm. So I'd be a little worried.
Unfortunately, I wish we could say he was the only one that suffered a major injury. Unfortunately, Noah Lang, I don't know what happened with his finger, broken, just skin off, but very, very fucking unlucky. The fact that your finger landed in the one spot it didn't have to land. At first, I thought he was not joking, but I'm like, okay, what's so serious about this? Like, wow, you hit your finger. Then they start zooming in on his finger.
Oh,
I shut up real quick. I did not say any more words after that. But Galatasaray, they did what they could. That knockout match against Juve, they showed potential. They showed potential as one of the first leg. I feel like this could have been potentially different if Osimhen wasn't hurt. Maybe they bag a goal, maybe two. But in the end, it probably still looked like they were going to lose. Galatasaray didn't think they'd be a team to make much noise in the Champions League just because they have some solid names. They're there for a reason. They're a little washed up, but granted, I think if you're a Galatasaray fan, I think you're happy with what happened. You did what you could. You lost 4-0. Fuck it, it happens. You just go back next season, whether you have Osimhen or not. If you don't have him, you're gonna get a big transfer fund, and you just do your best to build up that team.
I agree. I think they do have a lot of young pieces that I'd be excited to keep watching, especially when players like Sane and Gundogan leave. Well, Gundogan I don't think played this game, but when their older pieces leave, I think this is going to be an exciting squad. I know you brought it up, but I wanted to ask you, because Salah this season I think has been pretty bad. That missed pen, did you have a chance to watch it?
Was it? I maybe saw like a split second. How was the pen?
Salah runs up to the ball, and obviously I think when you're taking a pen, most players think of either shooting it top left, shooting it top right, banging it as hard as you can. Instead, I feel like I don't think it was like a missed technique. I think it was more so just like a choice. He got like the inside of his boot onto the ball, and it more so like passed into the net, where even the Galatasaray keeper expected it to be far right, and so he's diving. He saves it with his boot. He doesn't even get like a hand on it.
Short. Was it
because
weak
it was
too?
so short. It was weak. It was super weak. And it's easy to like look at a moment like that and like call out Salah for having a bad performance. He had a great goal later, but I think it speaks to a larger issue with Liverpool. And do you feel like Salah is going to remain at Liverpool past this season?
I think he would want to, but if the same situation with Arne Slot happens again, now that it's the summer transfer window, I think it will be a lot more serious. And depending on how far Liverpool go, if Liverpool somehow go to win this thing, I think he's gone. He'll go to Saudi. He'll take his money and he'll leave happily. So it all depends on the success. But if Arne Slot has another talk with him and things either go good or bad, I think it'll probably be time for him to go. If they don't do as well and he wants to redeem himself one last time, I think he has no more than a year left at Liverpool. Being a legend, he'll probably want to go out on a higher note than he would have if he left right now. So I just honestly think he has no more than a season left. So Liverpool fans, admire him while you still got him. Good question though. I like that. Now to continue on the left side of the bracket, we're gonna go to a pretty unexpected matchup. I think most people had their money on Man City, but you had Real Madrid annihilate them 5-1 on aggregate. Immediate
Horrible.
thoughts.
Failed hate watch. So sad. I think Madrid have been pretty underperforming this season, and City have looked better. They looked better in the Premier League. I think a lot of people thought that Arsenal were gonna start choking the league like they have many seasons, and City was gonna win. But after seeing this game, I don't think that you can really believe in the City project to win any silverware this season. I was really sad to watch this game, and I'm gonna be honest. I'm a fan of Pep. Obviously, like a lot of Barcelona culture there, but I think he does play a good style of football. I think that especially recently, he's allowed a lot more players to be creative. I know there's been a talk around Pep in past seasons where he doesn't really allow your players to do what they want. It's a very strict structure in his team, and it's tough to say because I feel like I came into that match really thinking that City were going to win, and I think they were probably the favorites to win that game. The fact that Mbappe was injured for really for both legs because he didn't do much the second leg, I would say helped Madrid. I think that they're a team who have been suffering from having too many cooks in the kitchen. They have too many players who require the ball at their feet, and having Vinny be able to produce, having Valverde all of a sudden come out of nowhere, because we can be honest, I think Madrid fans want to glaze him now. I saw a tweet that they were saying like, oh, should Valverde be a favorite for the Ballon d'Or now? Let's calm down. Let's calm down. He's been doing nothing this season.
Slow your horse.
Exactly. But I do think that they played well this game, as much as it pains me to say. We'll save the rest of it for Preds, but I do have more to say about the following leg. What do you think?
With Madrid, we've all hated on them, especially since we're Barca fans, we're going to hate. But when they need it most, a player will step up. I like seeing Madrid more without Mbappe because then you have certain individuals that will try their best to excel. I feel like when you have Mbappe there, you're always going to try to feed Mbappe. Always try to get him the goals because it makes sense. At times, Mbappe is the only person that attacks on the team. But as we saw in that first leg, it was Valverde who created. So they always have an individual performance. Based off just talking about individual performances, Mandy met the fucking legend Courtois single-handedly just... Hey, I don't really have words to say what Courtois' performances are in the Champions League. This guy's a fucking GOAT. Hey, up there for best performing goalies in the Champions League. He definitely stopped a lot of goals, especially in that second leg. Although they lost and it was 2-1, City were having good chances. Then the Bernardo Silva thing, unfortunately, happened, which I do think was a red card. I don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah, for sure. I would say so.
Red card, but they did have good chances. They just weren't able to connect. But this was a young City team. Not young, but they had a lot of inexperienced people since they signed like Semenyo and Guehi. And for their first ever Champions League game, you're going to put them in the Bernabeu. I think they were set up for failure because they don't have that necessary experience. So Pep does have to make some changes if he's even going to be the coach at the end of the season, especially I think in that midfield. They got to do something about Bernardo Silva. I think this season he's been abysmal, so they definitely...
old. He needs to go Turkey.
They got to do something to replace him in that midfield. Reinders hasn't had that good of a year, but you do have still like Cherky, who's played great. Semenyo played great. Nico O'Reilly played great. Kusanov, I think, had his best game against Real Madrid in the second leg. Although Vinny scored, but he had Vinny in the back pocket at times in that game. Donnarumma is still an elite goalkeeper. They have a lot to look forward to, but I think they just have to get that midfield situated. And Pep has to see if he even still wants to play. And on top of that, they still have the charges that I have no idea what the fuck is happening with those 115 or whatever the fuck charges.
The fact that Chelsea have already been acquitted and they're receiving their punishment is really surprising to see when I feel like City is been long overdue for something. Do you think they're going to get charged? Do you think they're going to get point deduction, transfer ban, maybe even relegation to the championship?
I don't even know what the charges are. I think it all depends on the severity of the charges. At the very least, I think they should at least get like point deduction, because you're telling me you're going to have 115 charges and you're not going to be guilty for like 30?
Yeah.
Like, unless they have the best lawyers in the game, they're going to be acquitted for at least like a third or a fourth. So if it's that much, bro, what is taxing them 10, 20 million euros going to do? No, take some points off like you have to fucking Everton. So just take some points and they'll still be fine, because at the end of the day, it's Man City. They'll always have that pool, whether Pep is there or not. You have Haaland, you have Donnarumma, you have some of the best players in the world there. They're always going to have a pool. So I don't think it'll make a difference. Now, if they get relegated to the championship, I would be interested to see what happens with the team. Who stays, who leaves? What do you even do in that situation? You just get relegated out of something that you probably had no idea about. So as investigations continue, whatever the fuck is happening with that, we'll get more news and we'll see, because I'm not keeping up with that shit. I've seen that shit once, like a year ago. Now shit has happened. But then you have Chelsea, like you said, getting acquitted before. It makes no sense. Hopefully not something corrupt. But
I hope so. I mean, you see Chelsea, their owners are Bluco. They keep trading, selling players, loaning out players with
Strasbourg.
Very weird to see. And so I thought City has something similar with Girona and like a few other companies. I know they're like under a similar umbrella.
Yeah, they're like the sister clubs. I'm pretty sure they're under the same management. So they just like loan them. But like what Chelsea's doing is way worse, because they're actively going back and forth. They even took their coach. So I don't know what they're gonna do, because I know they can't be in the same they can't be in the Champions League, because you had that same issue with like Crystal Palace and was it Lyon? Like they had like the same owner.
I think so.
They'll find a way to figure that out. I mean, they'll just sell it if it comes down to it. But this just comes to show you can never count out Madrid if Courtois is in goal.
Unfortunately, they do have a little bit of some Champions League aura. It actually hurts me so much to compliment this team.
They have all the aura.
Dude, they just do it year after year. Like this team is bro, because I'm looking also at the Madrid backline, and it's just like not inspiring, man. Like Trent, I think he played decently this game. I don't think he's been good for Madrid this season
at all.
Grayson, he's a young prospect. He needs more time to get refined, and I don't think he's gonna improve with Rudiger next to him. They need to bring in another center back. But then Fran Garcia, bro, oh my god! Every game I've seen of Fran Garcia is a low light. That brother stinks.
Or he's ass.
But they have the inevitability, man. There's something about their Champions League runs are just they don't lose.
There's nothing we can do about it, and then we're not going to talk about it now. We're going to talk about it later when we give our predictions. Courtois injury, that's going to change things up. So keep that in mind when we do our predictions.
Right.
And then going to the last leg of the left side, the stack side, we have an annihilation. Bayern Munich against Atalanta, 10-2. The scoreline speaks for itself.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're in a darker period for Serie A teams. And if you look at the Serie A table, I think Atalanta is 7th right now. They're not even too close to the top 4. I don't think they're going to make Champions League or maybe even any European spots for next season, which is probably a good thing for their domestic campaigns. I've noticed that, you know, when you don't have to worry about 2 games a week, you obviously do better in your league. But it's hard to say. I think obviously Bayern has been great this season. So 2 legs like this where they dominate Atalanta doesn't really say much. But I think what I can't speak on is their league phase and their domestic campaign. Bayern have looked like one of the best teams in the world. I was speculating on how good the Luis Diaz transfer would be because he is, I think, 28 years old, and they paid what was it, 80 million for him? I forget the exact
Around
figure, but
80
they paid a lot
million.
of money for him. But he's been great. He's been fantastic. Harry Kane is getting older, but he hasn't taken a step back. I think if anything, this is one of his best seasons as a striker.
This might be his best season.
Yeah, he's great, man. His link up play is fantastic. Like he really is a striker who can play so far deep that it allows players like Olise and Diaz to shine on the left and right side. I'm excited to see this team go further. I still have them as my Champions League favorites. Obviously, it depends if they play Barcelona in the finals, but I think they're an incredible team. I think they're really worth watching.
I mean, you could just stay on the attack for days. Like we could just sit here and talk about Olise, Luis Diaz, Harry Kane. Olise's form since joining Bayern has been off the charts. You saw the potential, but this guy just exceeded everything. Harry
Yeah, that
Kane,
guy's
I think,
different.
would be the Ballon d'Or favorite if the season was sent today. I do think he'd
Mhm.
be the favorite, but since it's a World Cup season, England has to do good in order for him to get that. But he's been fucking phenomenal. Luis Diaz again for that big fee that you saw. People were a little nervous. Fucking amazing. You used to have Musiala, amazing.
Yeah,
Just
I'm a big fan of Musiala, man. That guy
just
is
special.
special.
Came back from injuries, been balling. There's not really much to say about Bayern because 10-2 speaks for itself. They might be the best team in the world. I don't think that's a crazy take. They didn't go undefeated, but an amazing fucking team. And they're scary, and it will definitely will put more issues on Madrid than they probably think. So they'll be definitely a fun watch because they're a good team that attacks. So they don't play like Arsenal like a bunch of bitches.
I fucking hate that team. God damn, that team sucks. Oh my goodness, I would love to see that game in the final. Obviously, it would mean Barcelona would lose, but I don't know how much you keep up with football Twitter, but some of the shit that I see Arsenal fans say, that team needs to be humbled, man. That team gotta go.
I mean, they're gonna win the Prem, so they're gonna hold that against everybody. But let's not have them hold the Champions League too.
Yeah. If they somehow manage to get the double this season, brother, it's gonna be a whole year of insufferable fans.
And they still have the Carabao Cup finals or the FA Cup final. I'm not sure which one. When
I
they're
think
going
both.
against City, I know they're going
I think
against City in the
yeah,
finals.
yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure they're still on for the quadruple.
That's scary. And you also have Carl Leonard. Like they have also like young talent. Like Limer's been great. You still have Alfonso Davies. You still have
Mhm.
Kimmich. Stanisic has been amazing. I think he's played well at that fullback position. You still have Ta, Upamecano. Like
Mhm.
the talent's there. They still haven't had Neuer be too consistent because of injuries. So if they keep playing like how they are, and Courtois doesn't play, I feel bad for that team. And like you said, for Serie A, not really anything positive to say about them.
Yeah,
At
Serie
least,
A's in a dark place right now.
at least they made it to the round of 16. So
Woo!
you guys got that. Now, what happened in the round of 16? Don't speak about it.
Yeah. We'll move past it. We'll give them a bye this year.
And that's it. That's the left side of the bracket done. Now we're gonna move to the weaker side, but a side that we're very excited to talk about,
Yeah.
especially this first matchup, Barca versus Newcastle, 8-3 on aggregate, a 1-1 draw in the first leg, and a 7-2 annihilation in that second leg. Take the floor.
It's beautiful footy. I honestly think that Barcelona have looked the best now than they have the entire season. I think I'm already forgetting about that 4-0 loss to Atleti. I think we did see Bayern Newcastle match up in the league phase, and Barcelona did win that game. I remember going on Twitter after that game and seeing these Newcastle fans talking about Pedri and like how they haven't seen a player like him before. I'm gonna be honest, unreal glaze, but Barca do have, for me, still the best midfield in the world. Pedri is probably the best metronome, best midfielder in the world for me. I think that once Dion comes back from injury, he and Pedri having the double pivot, it just makes up for so much lack of defense that I do feel like Barcelona still have. I mean, we did give Jacob Murphy 2 goals. I don't know. Or sorry, not Jacob Murphy.
Oh, Elanga.
Yeah. Like Elanga, he scored. I think he scored once in the last 30 games,
Yeah,
and
I
he
couldn't
scores
tell
twice
you.
against us. Free donation. But I think this team is great, and I think when you have Rafinha fully healthy and pressing as much as he does, you can really feel how things start to shift in Barcelona. I think early in the season when he was injured, you really felt his presence being lost. I think that with Rafinha on the team, with Lamine Yamal playing as well as he is, regardless of if we have a Ferran stinker, I think this team can go far.
I agree. The only thing that would hold this team back is the high line. So we saw the good and the bad of this team. On both goals, they got fucking obliterated. That defending was horrible. Great balling. You had the second goal where Yamal backheel passed it to Lewis Hall, and then to Harvey Barnes. Harvey Barnes with a great pass to Langa and a goal. So you see that this team is very vulnerable on defense, but the offense is just way better. If they
Yeah.
scored, there's not many teams in this competition that would have scored 7 goals against Newcastle. I think the only team that would have had a chance to score 7 is Bayern. So that offensive power is there. They just can't get caught lacking too many times on defense. Because in that first leg, the fact that it was 1-1, where they should have at least had 2, maybe 3 goals, says a lot. But it definitely
Mm-hmm.
helps having Joan Garcia at goal because they get bailed out a lot when the defense sells. Like right now, without Gunde, the right back position I think is terrible. I do not like seeing Araujo at all at right back. I think every time he comes into the game, I get scared. Like in that first leg, Lamine Yamal was getting locked up, but having him at right back didn't necessarily help him. So there's a lot of bad things on this team, but there's also a lot of great things. Like you mentioned, Pedri, Mark Bernal has been phenomenal. Phenomenal. For me, all season, been phenomenal. Again, if you have another stinker like stinker at top with Ferran or maybe even Lewandowski, who hasn't been at his best this season, he was still able to get 2 goals. You don't expect much from him, but when he gets his chances and he's able to take advantage of them, he'll slot in the goals. He's a pure goal scorer. Obviously at a lot older age, but it's better than what you got right now
Yeah.
with Ferran.
Agreed. I think Lewa is really great at hold up, and I think regardless of who Barcelona decide to bring in as striker, I'm sure they'll look for a new one in the summer. I think you want to follow that template that Lewa has left because this team is really. I mean, we're still playing a lot of passing footy. If you don't have a striker who can pass the ball, then I think it gets a little dangerous. I think you start playing like a team like Arsenal, for example, where they still kind of play with a black hole at striker. Like they don't really pass the ball to Gyökeres. He doesn't really get much service, and I don't think that's entirely like the winger's fault. And so I'm really looking forward for a good player there. But I want to ask you something.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, Barcelona are known for their academy products, and one of my favorite players right now is Fermin Lopez. I want to ask you, what do you think is the ceiling for a guy like him?
What's the ceiling? So I don't really know if I have an answer because I haven't been watching for too long. I'm not gonna act like I have amazing ball knowledge in this shit. I watch it. I know a little bit. I'm not always relatively like keeping up with it. But from what we're seeing, I don't know what his goal contributions are. I know it's over 15. I don't know who you would compare him to. I don't know what are some of the best attacking midfielders Barca's have had. I'm not gonna act like I know every fucking Barca legend. But if who would you compare him to so I could kind of get like
Yeah. Let me give you some examples. Well, this season, I'm pretty sure Fermin has 18 goals and 16 assists. I'm pretty sure. This could be wrong. I did see this stat on Twitter. I'm regurgitating some information here, but I'm pretty sure he has the most GA for any midfielder, all comps in the world right now.
that would make sense. He's definitely top 3.
Yeah,
Definitely top 3.
he's been playing really well, and I think he's somebody who is so good with those tight spaces. I think he's very dynamic, and I think at times we need that in the midfield. But to maybe give you some comparisons, where would you rank him amongst maybe some of the better Premier
Attacking.
League Premier League cams? I don't think he's as good as Bruno or Soboslai, but let's say somebody like I don't know
I mean,
a Tonali, for example. Would you say he's better than Tonali?
I would probably say he's better than Tonali. As of this season, he's been better. I mean, you had Chelsea salivating at the mouth trying to get this guy in the summer. So you can clearly see that a top Prem club thought he was good before he went off. So you saw the potential, and he's going on that and even more. So I think if you had to rank him, he's probably like no less than like a top 7 attacking midfield. That might
Right.
even be harsh. He might even be top 5 just based off form. In this season, strictly, he might be top 5.
Right. Uh, they haven't really been playing Cam. I know Palmer is somebody who's been playing more right wing recently, but he's kind of known for his Cam position. Where would you rank him in that classic conversation of Foden, Saka, and Palmer?
For me,
Mm-hmm.
Foden has talent, but Foden when he has a stinker, when Foden has stinkers, it's back to back to back to back. So Foden, it's harder for him to get in form, but when he's in form, he's amazing. But I'm gonna just go off the season. I don't remember the last time I heard Phil Foden's name. I don't remember the time. Did he even play? He might have played against Madrid. I didn't see the second legs, but I think this season he laps in. Cole Palmer this season has been pretty lackluster from what you expect from Cole Palmer. I think since he's in that right wing position, he's very limited. When as you put him at cam, it opens up the whole field for everybody else. So that's just he has to get the tactics right with the coach. They have to do what they can do to put Palmer in the best position. So off the season would be better than Palmer and potentially Saka. But I don't know if I could put him over Saka just because Saka's the main winger on arguably the best team in the world. I don't know if you would agree
Yeah.
with that.
I don't think I would say that. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like this season I've been pretty underwhelmed by Saka's performances. Again, I'm really biased. I'm a huge Fermin Lopez fan, but I do think he's the best out of those three.
He could be. I mean, another year like that, and it's not even close.
That's true. That's true.
Good question to ask, though, by you. But the Joan Garcia situation, I don't think it's a serious injury or if it's even an injury at all.
Yeah, I think Barca confirmed that he's good to go.
Thank God.
He's good to go. Yeah, we really do need him.
I don't know. Oh, if this backline stinks it up in the first leg against Atletico, and we have Szczesny at goal,
oof,
we might get 5 or 6 scored on.
Yeah, I mean, Szczesny played a few minutes last night, but the last time he played, I think I heard the commentator say it was in November. So he's obviously not playing much. I'm sure he's still training, but John Garcia has been incredible for us this season. I think we really do need him for this Champions League run if we want to have a chance to win it.
And now switching over to the Newcastle side, first leg, they ran us out the park. The fact that we got that last minute pen saved us because they, again, like I said earlier, they should have been up 2, maybe even 3. And in the second leg, that first half was amazing. They played better than us for half of that half. So we would score, they'd come back, score again. We score, come back, score again. They played really good. Harvey Barnes and Lewis Hall on that left side are a good partnering.
Mm-hmm.
Their striker position has been very inconsistent. They've gotten some good Anthony Gordon play, but Voltamad, after starting off hot, hasn't done too good. You had Osula that has had some moments. So it's really hurt them that they don't have a definitive person up top.
Mm-hmm.
And then that back line, not bad at times, but when it's bad, I do think it's really bad. Like you saw, Barca scored 7 on them. So good for Newcastle for 3 halves, but that fourth half was so bad that everything that we said before kind of just doesn't matter.
Agreed. I think Newcastle fans should obviously be disappointed that they won't have Champions League football next season. They're, I think, sitting at 12th right now. I don't think it looks too good for them to make it to top 5. But what I think you should look forward to is, since you're gonna have an easier schedule next season, I do think this team can be good. I think this team can make it against the top 5. I was really excited about the Voltamata signing, especially after the first few games, because like you said, he started off really hot. I don't know the full story of why he isn't playing, but if he doesn't leave this summer, I'm sure he's unhappy he's not playing. But if he doesn't leave this summer, I do think that this squad, like you said, with some defensive upgrades, could be pretty good. Like one of the better ones in the Prem. I think this midfield is really strong.
No, they're fucking strong. They are indeed strong. But even another signing they made, like Wisa, I haven't heard of him since he left. Brentford, no, he played for
Yeah,
Brentford.
Brentford.
Yeah, like I haven't heard of him. I thought that was a great signing, and I just haven't heard of him at all. So a lot of things to build on this Newcastle side. I think that the foundations, though, like the core pieces you have, I think are great. Since they won't have Champions League football, since they're not doing so good domestically, you're happy that you make it to the round of 16 and you put up a good fight against one of the better teams in Europe. Now you just address those positions. Like I don't know what's gonna happen with Tonali after the World Cup. There's been I've heard multiple times that he's maybe I don't know if he's wanted to leave or they've wanted to sell him. But you also have that to take into account. You have Tripper that's a little old on the older side at right back, and they have Liverpool. So just developing all these young guys like Osula looks like he has some great potential. Just bring in, number 9, maybe and you got to get a new center back because
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Diaz all that great. But like you said, something positive. A lot of positives for this Newcastle side, but that's that for this leg, for this match. Now the second matchup of the right side, Atletico versus Tottenham, that ended 7-5 on aggregate. It was 5-2 to Atletico the first leg, and then they lost 2-3 to Tottenham the second leg. Tottenham. Relegation battling Tottenham.
Yeah, it was, as somebody who doesn't watch really any Tottenham games, seeing their game against Atletico was really strange because they definitely played a lot better than what you would expect from a relegation battle team in the Prem. And I was even like so, I don't know, shocked that I went back and I saw a few highlights from their game against Liverpool they had the other weekend, and it's just two different teams. They look uninspired in the Prem. They don't look like they want to win, especially a player like Xavi Simons, who was his first game, sorry, not first game, it's his first season at Tottenham. He looked pretty good in the game against Atleti, but I don't know. I feel like I'm missing a lot of creativity from this team. I feel like I'm missing a lot of pressure, and I don't think Tudor is the coach for them. But it's just really strange to see. Really strange to see. I am more so impressed with Atleti. I think that they played, especially in the second leg, pretty well. Given it's a loss, I don't think that the loss says the full story. I think Atleti did play better that game, in all honesty. Um, but yeah, I feel like my focus just still relies on Tottenham. It's really strange to me how they played this game compared to the Premier League.
Yeah, I actually, in my predictions, I had to say upset. So I went, I'm like, you know what, bro? Fuck it. Let's go Tottenham.
Hey man.
Upset. I agree, though. They, at least in this second leg, they looked way better. They looked, again, like a whole different team. And Tudor, he's just there for the season. If this guy somehow gets extended, sink that shit,
Woof.
sink
Yeah.
that team immediately. But like you said about their mentality, I don't think they have that urgency. Like I wish I could see in their head, because a guy like Romero is more than likely gonna leave. So what's the
Yeah.
mindset for a guy that knows he's gonna leave? Obviously, he's the captain, so that adds a different element to it.
Hmm.
But let's say you have another guy like Pedro Porro or Tell, for example.
Hmm.
They don't really give a fuck what Tottenham's gonna do because they're gonna leave. So what are they thinking? I might be saying some bullshit, but since you brought up something like that, I want to know what the players who are more than likely not gonna be here, what what are they thinking?
I agree. I think it's worth a conversation. I'm glad you brought up Romero because if you remember last transfer window, there were rumors that he was actually going to go to
To
Atleti.
Atleti.
And you're right, he's the captain. I think somebody like him is very prideful in being the captain. But when you're performing this poorly in the season, especially after the offseason they had, where you kind of expected Tottenham to, at the very least, be better than they were last season, better than 15th place, right? And seeing how poor it's been this season, and seeing how even though you spent, I think, what was it, 120 million in total in the transfer window, and you still perform this poorly, you perform even worse than you did last season. It's hard to not. I think it's hard to not feel like the project is over, as in like you are done with this club, regardless of what happens here. You're out this summer. So I feel like that definitely affects their mental, and maybe that's why they played better in the Champions League, because it's at least a chance of winning some silverware. of like redeeming yourself, because ultimately, as much as these players want to claim that they're better than the club or it's just a bad situation, you're still the front face of this bad Tottenham side. Regardless of how well you think you're playing, your team is 17th place right now in a relegation battle as a supposed Big Six club. So I think it has to weigh on their mental. It has to.
You just perfect, by the way. I was gonna ask, what do we think about them being a top six club? What do we think
Yeah,
about that?
I think that term is. I mean, it's very traditional. I think it'll probably still stand, especially if Tottenham stay in the Premier League. But looking at the last few seasons, you can't argue that those top six clubs are really the top six clubs in the Prem. They definitely have the most funding. I mean, Tottenham Stadium alone brings them in hundreds of millions of dollars every
They're a
year.
business club out there.
Exactly. But you can't really tell me that a club like Tottenham in the past, I don't know, let's say like 5 years, for example, is better than an Aston Villa, is better than even a Newcastle with like some strong performances. They had Tottenham got silverware last season, but they played against United, which were a joke last season. I don't think it's much of a comparison. So I think the term is becoming outdated.
Well, I just wonder what this season, how different it would have been if they would have lost that Europa League championship to United. How much changes do you make? Who who comes in to be the coach? Let's say it's not Thomas Frank or something like that because they didn't win. But I just wonder how different this season would have been if they didn't get that silverware. Because as shitty as the season, oh, we finished 15th. Oh, but we're still in the Champions League because we won the Europa League.
Yeah, a little pat on the ass.
And as now we see that United, that were on the opposite side, that also did pretty poorly, but they lost, are now a top three club in the Prem. No Amarim, no
Hmm.
problem. So I just wanted, like, just curiously, like, I wish we knew what would happen if the roles were reversed. How would have United performed in the Prem, and how would they have performed domestically, to see if it would be the same result as Tottenham, to where you're looking better in Europe as opposed to domestically.
Hmm. I think uh, the main difference I've noticed between Tottenham and United is that both teams started off with bad coaches. But United are a team on paper who are much better than the skill they were playing at the start of the season. So I think it's only natural you bring in a coach like Michael Carrick, who at least knows the United like philosophy and the culture in there, and he can bring a new sense of football. I'm sure the players felt relieved after Amarim got sacked because they didn't have to play that five back anymore. They could play the positions that they've been playing their whole lives. But compared to a team like Tottenham, I don't think that team meshes well. I don't think signing like Xavi Simons was good. I think Tell has had decent moments, but in that second leg against Atleti, he missed so many chances. He had a lot of possibilities of passing the ball into the box, and he
And he
just
was
didn't.
shooting up. Yeah.
I don't think he's a good signing either. I honestly think their only great signing has been Kolomoani. I think he's been like a serviceable striker, and even then, you just signed Solanke, and then a few years ago you signed Richarlison. So I don't know what is happening in the Tottenham board that they just cannot figure out who their striker is.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of bullshit happening up there.
Exactly.
So Tottenham, good luck in your relegation battle. I don't really care if you get relegated or not. I'm here for the drama. I'm here for the drama.
I'm saying. I want to see it happen.
I'm trying to see what happens.
The fire sale that's gonna happen on that team if they get relegated is gonna be generational. What a good offseason that'll be. I'm hoping they get relegated.
Like, the last thing we're gonna say about Tottenham, like, I saw a rumor about Vicario to, I think it was Inter potentially.
Oh, interesting.
So I don't know if it was true or not, but I saw that on my Twitter. Now going to the last two games here on the right side, that will be for the last matchup in the quarters. We have Sporting versus Bodo. Aggregate 5-3 to Sporting. They were down 0-3 in the first leg, and the best remontada 5-0 in the second leg. And just like that, Bodo's Cinderella run comes to an end.
Yeah, I was really sad to see it. Seeing Bodo beat a team like Inter in the round of 16 was really fun to watch. And I do think they're a good team. Honestly, I think they're a good squad. I think they deserve to be where they're at. I think that second leg, you saw a lot of nervousness in the Bodo players. I mean, it was chance after chance for Sporting. I think they're a better team defensively and tactically, so it makes sense that Sporting won, but It's sad to see. I saw some people saying that Bodo was going to be this year's 2019 Ajax when they made it to the semifinals, which would have been cool. But I don't think they're there yet.
Impressive run nonetheless. When you compare the first leg to the second leg, it looks like again a different team. Maybe the nervousness, different tactic. I'm not too sure because I'm not really, I'm not gonna act like I'm the tactics guy and I know it all. But outside of a couple chances in that first half, that second half was it was nothing. There's nothing to talk about from Bodo in that second half. They did nothing. It was straight Sporting. And that's that. They had their chances, and Sporting even had more chances that they missed. This could have been again another 6, 7, maybe even 8. They had even more chances that they missed. So it was just straight Sporting from that second half whistle to the end whistle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's honestly like speaking a little ahead, it's kind of disappointing to see a team like Sporting win because although I think they have a good squad, like you said, they miss a lot of chances against a Bodo team who looked really, really scared. Seeing their matchup against Arsenal, I don't think they have really any chance to win that game. It sucks. I would have liked to see. I would have loved to see them matched up with a different team because I do think they have an interesting squad. Uh, but man, I mean, it's not looking good for the future.
I mean, at least when they go against Arsenal on the score, it's not going to be like, oh, they got dominated. Maybe it's a 4-2 or 3-1.
Yeah.
But we know that when we see the game with our eyes, there's a very high chance that they got dominated. But for the most part, I think Sporting from goalie to striker, everybody was on the same page, and it went great. Like their captain, Hujelman, like he was making some great plays. You had Trincao, who played amazing. Suarez
Mm-hmm.
had some chances. He slotted the pen. Araujo,
Yeah.
the fullback, amazing fucking performance by
Barcelona
that guy.
product, by the way. Barcelona product. Good player.
Amazing by that guy. Is he actually?
Yeah. I think we saw them summer ago or something like that.
No, no, this might be a different one.
Oh, I'm thinking of the Mexican Araujo.
Yes,
No,
that's
this is
the
you're
one.
right.
That's the one in Celtic. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've seen him in Celtic. But I've never heard of this guy, but he had a fucking amazing game. But there was a remontada incoming. At least I thought there was gonna be one. I was hoping there was gonna be one, and this is the one I really wish it wasn't because I still didn't want to see Bodo go through. But very successful campaign, a lot of revenue to be made by them, and Sporting, this is their first time making it past the round of 16. So good for them, and they'll face the brick wall of Arsenal.
That team is full of terrorists, man. I think we should just go straight into it. Their game against Bayer Leverkusen.
Yep, go ahead. It was 3-1 aggregate, 1-1 the first leg, and in the second leg, it was 2-0.
Yeah, I don't think this game really highlights Arsenal's strengths or the weaknesses. I think that I haven't really watched much of Bayer Leverkusen, but they're definitely not as good as they have been in the last 2 years. And I think that a team like Arsenal is obviously just gonna dismantle them. I think even in a game like this, though, you did see some issues with Gyökeres. He's just not fitting into the squad, and I'd be more willing to give him time, if not for the fact that he's played in the Prem before. He used to be on Brighton a number of years ago. He's like 28 years old. It definitely seemed like an emergency signing for Arsenal when he scored 50 or so goals in the Portuguese league. Now coming into Arsenal, he just doesn't fit. I think if you're an Arsenal fan, that's what you should be worried about moving forward. Like we spoke about it. We spoke about it earlier in the podcast. Obviously, Arsenal have a great midfield. They have probably the best defense in the league. Their fullbacks are still really strong. Obviously, they're not, like a PSG's. But I think you have an argument for Timber being one of the best right backs in the world. And this game, I don't think that it was it Calafiori playing on the left back?
You had Hincapié.
Hincapié. It was Hincapié. He looks good too. He looks good. And as much as I want to say that it was a worthwhile performance, I don't think this really spoke to how good Arsenal can be. I want to hear your thoughts before we continue.
They don't have a prolific striker. Gyökeres hasn't been good. You also have Kai Havertz, who's probably been better, but not good as well. Gabriel Jesus, I don't remember the last game that guy's fucking played. I haven't heard his name. So there's only so much you can do when you don't have a consistent finisher up top. But that's why they have to do the set pieces and all the dirty work and just defend amazing. They have riot and goal because they know they're not going to score 4 or 5 goals, but they'll beat you in every other department. So it's the fact that I think they're self-aware that really helps them be the team that they are.
I agree. They're definitely a well-oiled machine. Arteta has them boys playing really well.
Yeah, he better, because after the amount of times they fucking sold the Prem, it's about time they got one. Not really much to say. Bayer Leverkusen, I couldn't even tell you half the players on his fucking team.
Yeah, I mean, they lost all of them in the summer.
Exactly.
So
that, and then at the beginning when they had Ten Hag and then sacked him. I don't know if this is the same manager that they had when they sacked Ten Hag and it was an interim. But I think Leverkusen with a very successful season after the fire sale and after all the bullshit they went through at the beginning, the fact that they still made it to the round of 16, good for you. I thought they would have gotten eliminated, not make the top 24, but good season for them. And that's that. Not really too much to say about this game. Arsenal handled business as usual. And that's that for the round of 16 recap. Now, just quickly, we'll go over our quarterfinals predictions. You can go ahead and you can give yours.
We're starting from left to right? Okay. So starting with PSG Liverpool, I think that this is going to be a really close game. If we see the same Liverpool we saw in that 4-0 win against Galatasaray, I actually do think there's a conversation here. And I'm honestly confident enough to say it's going to be a 6-5 win for PSG. I think Liverpool get there. I think they might win the game at Anfield, but PSG, they're a good squad. They're hitting form at the right time. I think they got out of here with the win.
I agree. I don't know if it'll be as high scoring, but they did just slot 8 against Chelsea. So I would go PSG as well winning. I think I'd maybe go 5-3 to PSG. Then for the second leg, you have Real Madrid against Bayern Munich. I don't know what to think about this one.
I honestly, listen, again, I'm always going to hate on Madrid, but I really do think their rollie is fake. I think that watch is fake. Fake diamonds, glass on the AP. I think Bayern win this game, and I think they show levels to Madrid. I think Madrid is hitting form, as like PSG at a good time, but I can't ignore their domestic campaign where they just have not been a great team. So I'm saying Bayern win this pretty comfortably. I would probably go maybe 4-2, not too high scoring. Madrid still have superstars in their forward positions, so I doubt they'll go out without a fight, but I do think Bayern get through here.
And 4-2, I think would normally be a good score for this, but just not having Courtois potentially, just I'm gonna keep that in the back of my head. That's gonna scare me a little bit.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, I mean, this team just slotted 10 against the weak Atalanta side. But if they slotted 10, who's to say they can't do just 5? Because, I mean, bro, for how shaky that Real Madrid backline has been and how powerful that Bayern front three has been, I think I'd give this. You still have Mbappe, you still have Vinny, shit, maybe get another Valverde masterclass. I'd go Bayern 5-3.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think there's a world here where Madrid do win, but like you said, Bayern has been too good this season to lose right here.
Yeah, I hope they lose, but after what I just saw against City, anything is possible. And now on the right side, to finish off the last 2 matches, you have Barca and Atleti. As Barca fans, I think we know what we're going to say.
Yeah.
What score do you have?
I don't think we're gonna see a repeat of that Spanish Cup game. I think that this is gonna be a real domination. I've noticed though that Barca do play a little worse against domestic competition. Well, this season specifically, but they know Atleti. They're a better side. I'm saying 5-2 Barca.
2. I think Atleti is again another team that have also been getting good form at the right time, especially since that Lookman signing. How much do Barca score for me is the question. Since we have that first leg at home, you have to take advantage, get as many goals in as you can, because if Atleti somehow batters us like they did that first leg, it might be chalked. So I actually, as much as I do want home field advantage in the second leg, I think if Barca get off to a strong enough start that the second leg won't matter. I think I would go. You went what 5-2?
5-2.
I think I'll go. I think I'll go 4-1.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I could definitely see this being a bigger deficit. Barcelona are one of those teams who are capable of scoring a lot of goals. You saw it against Newcastle. But Madrid know them. Atleti know them. I don't think they'll be able to get as much as they want.
Yeah, I think Flick will learn from his mistakes and
Definitely.
he'll apply better tactics because whatever he did against Newcastle in that second half definitely fucking worked. And now for the last tie of the quarterfinals, Sporting and Arsenal.
I really wish that this was a different team. I wish that Arsenal were playing really any of the other teams bar Atleti, because I think that you would see that Arsenal are not as good of a team as you might think. Sure, they're great on set pieces, and I think that they'll continue to keep games close because of it, but I just don't see them winning the Champions League. I don't. I think they win this game against Sporting. I think their matchup is actually pretty good. As much as Sporting is a team who likes to control possession, Arsenal not only can soak up pressure with that incredible back line, but they are still good at controlling the ball. And so if Sporting doesn't get the chances they want, I don't see them really doing much this game. I'm going to go... I don't think Arsenal's a high-scoring side, but I'm going to say still 4-1.
They scored 3 against Leverkusen. I think the
That's true.
Sporting back line is stronger, so I think it'll be another 3-1. Simple, calm, but still dominant.
That's fair.
Unless Sporting somehow come off to an insane start to where they score 2 right off the rip, then Arsenal will see them in the back foot like they haven't really been this season. So if Sporting somehow come off in that first leg and they start off strong, somehow get a goal or two before Arsenal's able to score one or even in the first half, then I think they could cause troubles. But if we're being realistic, that's just me, hating on Arsenal. If we're being realistic, that probably won't happen. Yeah, I think it's going to be 3-1. And you said 4-1?
4-1.
Yeah, so that's it for our UCL Round of 16 recap and our quarterfinals predictions. Something we do here is after we finish, we talk for a little bit. Good guests having a pod, knowledgeable, good vibes.
Appreciate you, man.
Knows how to talk. Oh, very good. Our second time collabing. We've done a stream before. If you guys don't know, I'm also streaming as well. Had a good little stream and now a good little podcast. So honestly, it was very fun. Love you, John. But this was still fun. Having a new face, refreshing. And good vibes. That's all you can really ask for. If I'm doing a pod with you, I want good vibes, and the vibes are great. You were talking good. I didn't have to do too much. You're the knowledgeable in here. Hey, shit. This could be your pod.
I appreciate
this
it.
episode.
I try to be. It's gonna look real embarrassing when some of these scores aren't like I predicted, but I'm excited for these games, man. I'm excited for the rest of this Champions League. It's been a great campaign so far. I'm excited to be back here talking about these games.
Yeah, man. If you want to come for these next couple rounds, I will gladly have you here.
I'm here. It's the off season right now in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? But NBA playoffs soon. That should be fun to watch.
Oh, those pods.
That's gonna be a bang.
I'm already cooking up some pods. I'm cooking up videos. Fortunately, though, it's next week. There's gonna be no pod. I'm gonna release a video or two, some Sporkle quizzes, because I'm not gonna be here. I'm gonna be on vacation. I'm gonna take the week off, relax, and then come back and just want it more than not want it. Now I'm gonna be in that mentality. I quit my job for this shit. Like, I'm passionate about this shit. Same with my streaming. Like, I'm gonna do the same thing. Getting sub badges, sub emotes. Like, I'm locked in.
Good shit, boy. That's fire.
Yeah, locked in. Up, and this was fun. X Runner, thank you for being here.
Appreciate you having me, man.
His links will be in the description down below. We got other pods. We got videos that will pop up here as we talk. But make sure to leave a like. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to comment what you guys thought and your predictions as well. That's it from us here at Don't Know Ball. Peace.
Deuces.